say Rahubat, Moisar, Shalil wu-sabat, wu-nawab, wu-nabat, pa mun-saru, ones who are of the aiders, pa mun-wabu, ones who are those who replace, pa musbatu, ones who are of the Sabaeans, and pa mun-batu, the Tagwum, we would say, the Nubian nation. And if you look at the word pa mun-batu or nabat Tagwum, you find that it also pertains to the word gold or the golden nation. Pa mun-batu, if you say in this part here, those who are the golden ones. Okay, all these are different descriptions of us as mushkhasu, a people. The Wapians, the Sabaeans, the Munbatu, the golden ones, and what's the Palmun Saru, ones who are of the aiders. So just giving you a little heads up. Okay, we like to say welcome to another wu-sabat class. I am Haptui Re Atam Hatab, one of the many student teachers of the master teacher, Parnabab Yananan, the galactical master of heaven and earth, who we affectionately refer to as Baba Yanun, an incarnated deity, avatar in human form into the body of His Excellency, Dr. Malachi Z.K. York, Ukran, 33 degrees over 720 degrees. And when we say 720 degrees, we are referencing 360 degrees of physical knowledge and 360 degrees of spiritual knowledge, or agreeable and disagreeable outformation, translating to the planes or to this earth plane, this three-dimensional realm, as information. Okay, and when we say Rahubat, you're actually saying, in essence, by way of the forces of Hu, Hua, Hu-He, we greet you all with Rashuk, divine love. Okay, so there are depths to what we are teaching. This outformation, when you say outformation, we're talking about that knowledge that is coming from outside of this three-dimensional realm. When it hits this three-dimensional realm, it becomes translated as information. Okay, everybody follow that? Okay, so these are what you'll find is, especially those of you who are new to the teachings, you'll find a lot of different words, terminologies, and concepts that it's not really heard in the diaspora, you know. So these are, you know, what the purpose of this of wu-sabat is to raise our intellect, and we transform from having not just intelligence but having outintelligence. Okay, so hey, with that being said, let me just read something to you all. Sorry, I forgot to say that this class is like a continuation of, I think it's about 2 other classes we had on our origins, and today's class is called Our Origins and the All, Papaot, and what is the connection. Before I read, you know what, let me just read it now. No, let me read something else. I want to read something coming from a pretty old scroll. Well, it's new to those of you who have never come across this scroll. Humans were created from. It smells like a papyrus now, isn't it? Changed the colour from white to kind of brownish. You know? Okay, I was going to read the introduction, because this introduction is very, very good. And let me just read it so you all could take a listen. Okay, you know what we say, wu-nawab. The Master puts in the Holy Tablets, wu-nawab means to convey a message. And where there's a conveyor, there's a listener. And the message which results in sound right reasoning. And I'm going to explain sound right reasoning in this scroll, the Master's Secrets, but as an introduction to this class today, I want to read from this particular scroll. The introduction scroll is called Humans Were Created From. So let us begin. Okay, let's go. The purpose of this scroll is to show you how religion's interpretation of creation is nothing more than some supreme beings or a being from beyond the skies, the stars, making, fashioning, forming, shaping or creating human beings. By the Jews or Hebrew Israelites and their Torah, or the Christians of all denominations and their New Testament, and the Mohammedan Muslims of all their sects and their Quran. These three denominations and their religious fanaticism has paralyzed the world in ignorance, that is, in ignoring the facts. Ignorance, you can hear it phonetically, ignorance, ignoring the facts. Okay. Let me, Parnababi Ananan, help you break the spell that has been on your minds for almost 6,000 years with facts. One fact is that the origin of your creation did not just happen with the snap of a finger or by way of some being with a voice, of course saying be, or you hear in the movies, be, he's got an English voice, isn't it? You know that God has always got an English voice. Be, come here, my, he's got an English voice, no Yardi voice, no Chinese voice, no, come here, my, be, and it is. Then you have others who say that some supreme being shaped the human body with all of its complexities and its many systems from mere clay, while others use mud and still others dust, which will be explained later on. My question to you is, did the actual creation of human beings or any living creatures just happen to come into existence with a poof and then into existence things came? As many are led to believe, that's right, believe, meaning you, the children of Eve, are being led to be like Eve. The spell is on the language, you see. I just want to stop there when you say the spell is on the language, because what they do is enforce the spell by way of the language, and what the master has done is he's using the same language that they used to enforce the spell to break the spell. You see? What they've done is, we have what's referred to as 9 mind. You look at the number 9, and what they've done is, they moved the number 9 they moved the number 9 clockwise and became the number 6. What we are doing, what the master's doing to us is, he's now reversing that spell by moving that number 6 counterclockwise back to the number 9 again. So we're moving counterclockwise as opposed to moving clockwise, because the planets move counterclockwise around the sun. The master teacher put it like this: just the same way how water flows down the drain counterclockwise, you see, not clockwise. Okay. So, did it all happen like they say? No, I don't think so. Creation, as you've been taught, did not just happen in an instant. The sole purpose of this book is to explain to you in detail what the human body is, what it does, and what humans or humans were created from, in order that you may understand that with all its intricacies, it could not have happened in a split second because some all-loving God, as you call him, wanted you to exist. It has become necessary that you find the answers to questions like these, especially in these days and times. Why? Because someone once said, and I quote, "Oh, how will I know the rationalist and liberal mind, the modern mind that still does not understand the nature of a commonplace thing like electricity, but does not hesitate to question the existence of heaven and hell. The mind that cannot grasp the mystery of the universe in which it has lived 600,000 years, let alone those greater universes beyond that myopia of man's greatest telescopes, but does not hesitate to doubt that its creator and creations are divine." Everything happens for a reason. There's nothing happens by way of chance. Chance does not exist. Every effect comes from a cause, And there is also what we refer to as a pre-causer, something that caused the cause to come into effect. Okay, this is where we're coming from. So we're rewinding the tape. Okay, this is what the teaching's all about. Okay. Where am I? And that someone was, okay, and that someone was that malevolent being, Iblis, the rebellious one, a human reptilian whom you know as Satan or Shaitan, the devil, Diablo, the serpent, and many more names. Your problem is that you often run from the facts that are put forth to you. Why? Because there are locks in your subconscious mind that needs to be broken, which binds you to this spell called Kingu or Leviathan. And the word Leviathan, you hear the word Levitical. The word Leviathan basically means Levi law, Athan means sin, the law of sin. Okay. The spell binds you mentally and spiritually with spiritual ignorance and racial blindness. Spiritual ignorance, meaning that there's only one God concept, and racial blindness. Hey, guess what? We're all the same. No difference is our skin color. We've got blood, but that's it. Okay, that's spiritual ignorance and racial blindness. Because each and every race has their own deity in their image and after their likeness. So the Chinese man God looks like them, the Indian man God looks like him, the Caucasian God looks like him, but our God don't look like us. There's something wrong with that equation, isn't it? Okay, look yourself in the mirror, that ain't God. Anyway, all this is what's called spiritual ignorance and racial blindness. You refuse to ask questions like, who put that spark of life there for things to exist and evolve? Yet you don't hesitate to ask, why do you exist? You will space out with questions like, now, in the universe, what's my divine purpose? Because I had a dream, and in this dream I saw a being who was gowned in white, and he told me I was put here, etc., etc., etc. It's time you wake up and ask questions like, was humanity created and placed here on the planet Earth by intelligent beings with more intelligence than ourselves? Why? Because obviously you don't have the answers. Or an even simpler question would be, why don't you have the intellect to answer these simple questions about your bodies? And why do they function the way that they do? Shouldn't you have been born knowing these things? So why don't you know the answers? Let us take a look at what their holy books say and see if it does not indeed support what is taught by the Holy Tabernacle Ministries, that's what was known at the time when this book was put out, about the Anunnakis cloning the Homo sapiens. I just want to jump a paragraph and read here. This is page 2 of this book. It reads, I told you that time is running out years ago, and I said that the time would come when I'll have to tell you the total truth and give you all of the facts. The fact is that the holy tablets, what Master put out, existed thousands of years before your Bible or your Quran. In fact, that's where they come from, the Bible and Quran, plagiarized from tablets that predate the Bible and Quran, and that's right, yeah, and mix it all up, and that's how the spell binders. Yet you still choose to follow these books, and why? Because it's only the blind leading the blind. All of these different religious groups, whether it be a sect of Muslims or a denomination of Christians or Jews, they don't know any more about the scriptures they read than if you took the time to read it yourselves. They rely on someone else's interpretation just as you rely on theirs. And they all interpret this one creator concept in different ways. The first thing you should know is that your biblical and Quranic stories were copied from ancient tablets, there you go, that are being discovered today. Tablets like the Enuma Elish, the Gilgamesh Epics, the Atrahasis, and the Eternal tablets. All of these original tablets are the source from which the Bible and the Quran copied their stories from. That's just like a little introduction. It's just really to stimulate our minds to let us know, right, that this is what this information is here to do, to stimulate our minds, to wake up our minds. And wu-sabat, as the master teacher says it, or wu-sabat, as the master teacher puts it, is more a remembering tool than it is a learning tool. Okay, so I hope that kind of may have stimulated certain questions one may have in the mind. Okay, before we can. Oh, Rahobat, oh, this book is called Humans Were Created From. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that?
Thank you.
Right, cool.
Yes, okay, this. Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Mal.
This is here after the train?
Sorry?
This is here after?
No, it's not a hereafter no, it's not a hereafter doctrine. This is when we was in the Holy Tanakh Ministries school, or HTM. And it's good you say that, because when we say the Master teacher put Holy Tabernacle Ministries, HTM, but the HTM ties into the three tried cities in ancient Egypt, Tamare, with the H really is Heliopolis, T is Thebes, and the M is Memphis. So HTM, Heliopolis, Sea of the Sun, Thebes, or Waset, or Nu Amun is the proper term, the temple of Amun. And Memphis, that's the primal city of Ptah, or Atum-Re, and Atum-Re, the three tried deities. Atum-Re, which is the sun appears to rise, Atun-Re, which is the sun at noon, and Amun-Re, when the sun appears to set, what they call evening. And there's another sun, the hidden sun, which is called Anun-Re, which is south. Okay, so these are like these are the four rays. Really, it's a priesthood. Re is a priesthood. Re can be referred to who we regard as the Most High, but the Most High is an order, it's a priesthood, and you'll find that mentioned in your Bible, Genesis chapter 14, verse 18, under the title of Elyon El, which they regarded as the Most High. There was in Genesis chapter 14, verse 18, it reads, a character called Melchizedek or Malachi Zadok was a high priest after order of Elyon El, or El Elyon, which is the Most High in their Bible. Okay, and so that is let you know Elyon El, or the Most High, is an order, and Melchizedek or Malachi Zadok was a high priest after that order. Okay, and with that being said, you find that Jesus, who people love so dearly, was a high priest not after the order of El Elyon, but after the order of Melchizedek. You see, so Melchizedek or Malachi Zadok, the Zadokite was an order, a high order, and Jesus was of that order of Zadok, so making him a Zadokim. In ancient Tamare, that word Zadok would have been Zedi or Zetui, and the head of that order, Melchizedek, in this Tamarian or ancient Egyptian mystery systems, we refer to him as Yanun, okay, or Tohuti or Zahutui or Thoth, and the Greeks refer to him as Hermes. They took the Hutui or Thoth and made their own character and called him Hermes. And to know how great this Hermes or Tahuti character was, they say Hermes Trismegistus, Hermes thrice times great. You see, so and the Hutui has incarnated in this day and time as Baba Yanun in the body of His Excellency Dr. Malachi Z.K. York. Okay, a high being who's here now to break the spell and raise, well, in actuality, the feminines and the masculines. We say feminines first because you all feminines were here first before man. You see, and you feminines, you are complete beings. You are, complete beings because you have two X chromosomes. We are, as masculine, we are incomplete beings because we have one stem missing. Okay. So that makes us, we only have 270 degrees, you have the full 360 degrees. Or you know what they say, you have the whole nines. So hey, we're just keeping it real, the science of facts and reality. You know? So acknowledge your greatness as a feminine, you know, because it's your time to rule. You know, we are in a day and time where is now the forces of natural nature is now precipitating the matriarchal rulership once again. Only for 24,000 years though. But is that enough? Do you want a bit more? Okay. So let us continue with today's class. Anyone's got any questions before we continue? No questions? Nothing so far?
Yeah, I had a question for Rahubat Musaf.
Rahubat Zamal.
So you said you said the Zodak. The Zodak has any relation with the modern term zodiac?
No, no, not the zodiac. The zodiac is good. That's a good question. The zodiac really is two words: zoo and arc. Or the zoo pertains to animals, and the arc pertains to circle. So let's say the animal circle. Now our in ancient Tamare, our rendition of the zodiac, or the zodiac is coming from our rendition, which is called the Dindira star map. That's where the zodiac is coming from. You see, so they utilize our outformation as information and created their own zodiac or animal circle. Okay, the zodiac in the Hebrew is tsadek, or zodiac, which the word zodiac actually means righteousness. You will find, or Malachi zodiac is the angel of justice and righteousness. And that word righteousness you'll find there's also an Egyptian deity, a female deity called Ma'at, deity of righteousness and justice. Now the Ma'at feather, so good question there, Zamal. So
Zamal.
Okay, you're welcome, Zamal. The key is in the language. Once you know the language, nobody can trap you. And even though we're speaking in English, when you're reading, always stop and look in the dictionary or Google, what does this word mean in the context that is written here, you see. So it's good to ask questions because that shows that you're on a quest when you ask questions. Okay, cool. So today's class is, hang on, before we start that, today's class is called Our Origins and the All, what's the correct connection, or Our Origins and Pa'od, the All. Okay, so today's class. Okay, so let us continue. So let's read a little note. I made some notes here just for stimulating the minds. So Our Origins is depicted within the Egyptian mystery systems as out-intelligence coming in as intelligence, or to put another way, in the realm of mental, in the mind of all as the all pa'ut. Okay, and I just want to read from the Master's Secrets called Dimensional Links, Nabat, and Dimensional Links and Nabat, the Sacred Ash. I actually was reading this earlier on today. Let's have a look. Right. Our origins, let me start by saying our origins and the all, meaning that, hey, let me ask you guys the question. Our origins and the all. What does that mean to you all when you hear that? The all is?
Our origins and?
The all, pa'ut.
The or.
Or the all, A-double-L, the all.
And the all.
Do you know what the all is?
Well, God is all.
Use the mic.
Sorry, thank you. To me, well, to my previous knowledge, I mean, that's all I can say. All is one and one is all, but I mean, that's God and man and all. God, the origin or creator, is the origin, the one, and all what he created is one. So
all
the object and the subject is one. I don't know. That's all I can say.
Do you know that's a that's good. That's a
okay.
good that is it's good. When we say one, hear this now. When I say that all is one, you cannot hear this now. You cannot have one without two.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know why we say that?
Well, duality.
It's good. It's good to make it have an attempt. You cannot have one without two. Do you know why that is?
Well, what I can see in the nature and in the Bible, there seems to be duality in the origin. Let us make man in our image and likeness, male and female. Right. So there's duality in the origin, there's duality in the created object.
Right. You're on the right path, because if you look at a clock now, you know you've got one, then you got one, then let's say 12 o'clock, let's say the number one, then you got the two. But what have you got in between the one and the two? Let's say like this. You got
space.
No, but you got one, and you got 1% of one, 2% of one, 90% of one, 98% of one, 99% of one, and one is complete when it hits two. So the number two makes one 100%, makes it complete. You get that?
Well, I get what you say. I don't understand it, but I accept what you say.
Put it like this. You've got a ruler now, right? You've got a ruler. And in the ruler, it's got 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. Then you say, yeah, this measurement is 1.5 inches. So you go to comes to 5 dash, that's a half. But it's only half of what? 1.5 inches means half of. Don't be afraid. When I say you got one, you got a ruler, and you got a tape measure. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but you got one. Let's say, give me half an inch. Give me 1.5 inches. So you got 1.5. So 1.5 is half of one. You follow? Then you got a 6. You got a fifth of one. Then you got a sixth of then you got 2. What we're trying to say is, one is not complete unless there's 2.
Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say? So that means that you got, when you say 1.5, you're talking about 50% of one. When you say, then you got 1/6 is 60% of one, 70% of one, and 100% of one is when you hit 2. So once you hit the number 2, one is complete.
Okay.
So you're right in saying that the term duality, there's always duality in nature. You follow?
Yeah.
So you get. So
I'm not very mathematically minded.
Okay.
Philosophically, I can understand all is one and one is all.
Yeah. Okay. You're 100% right. One is all, but all is not one. Let's put it like this now. Let's take it to another concept. When you say all, we say the omniverse.
Okay, yeah. And the universe.
Then we got the universe. Uni means what?
One.
One.
Universe.
What did you say, Shem? What do you put 2? No, you got dual verse. You know, that's a trick. That's another trick in the trap. When we say when they say unisex, hair salon, what does that mean?
Oh, yeah, that's a complicated. Yeah, but in this context, it's difficult.
It's meant to mean for both.
It's meant to mean both sex. It's meant to mean 2 sex. But universe means 1 verse. 2 verses would be called
By
dual verse, isn't it?
dual verse.
Triverse, etc., etc. When you got when they you can see how the trick and the trap of language that's been placed on us. We think unisex, and you think 2 sexes. No, if it's 2 sexes, it should be dual sex, not unisex. You see?
So what does unisex mean?
One, yeah, just means one.
What?
One sex.
One sex.
Uni means one, isn't it? Unicycle bicycle, tricycle, quad cycle, it goes on and on and on.
But when they say unisex, they want you to understand that it can be for either sex, I think.
Now, you know why they say unisex? To trap the mind. That's what they, you know what I mean? Trap the mind. Wu-sabat, we're here to break that cycle.
Okay, yeah. So are you saying it's according to the Bible? According to the Bible, there's supposed to be a being called Lucifer who told a half-truth to the characters called Adam and Eve, but it was supposed to be the word of God, but it was slightly altered. You know, if you eat the fruit, you will be like God. But that wasn't the commandment. The commandment was don't eat the fruit until such and such a time or whatever.
That's right.
So he told a partial truth, which made them break the law of God.
Yeah.
That's my understanding about it. Sorry, but
That's a trick and a trap, because he didn't, according to the story, the serpent, because they say it's the devil, the serpent never really told partial truth. He told the whole truth, because after eating the apple, did they drop down dead?
did they after the apple what?
After eating the apple, you know, as the story relates, after eating the apple, did they drop down dead?
Well, they lost their spiritual. They lost their. My understanding is they lost their spiritual consciousness, and they became more like physical beings and covered themselves up.
Here it is. They became, let's use this word, endarkened, because they knew good from evil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But when you see the word darkened,
Endarkened. That's how we drop it, not enlightened.
yeah, but well, maybe it's my old mind is telling me that when white people use the word dark, I'm not too pleased.
Hey, you know, this is how we break the spell. You know why? Because, again, this is what it's about, breaking the spell by way of the language. Because it said, go back to the same Bible, jump to, because you're talking about Genesis chapter 3, you go to Genesis chapter 1, it says, in the beginning God created the heavens and earth, and the earth was void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. So, and God said, let there be light. So God said, let there be light. He was in a state of darkness. See, we're here to break the spell.
Okay.
Do you know something? Is this, fam, Moisar, when you come to these classes, when you read the teachings or listen to the DVDs or the videos of the master, and you have what's referred to as a genetic explosion, an awakening. That awakening is in actuality you raise it up to another level of vibration. You begin to wake up. You now lift up to another level of vibration. Now you can see things a bit more clearer than perhaps the next guy who's still on that, let's say level 0, and you now woke up and you're now level 1. You now perceive things differently at level 1 than the guy who's on level 0. You see? Because now you become more perceptive, you perceive things differently. And you begin to look into languages, and you can see your mind begins to expand. Go ahead, Samuel.
How can I put it? Well, I was challenged when I mentioned the word African Holocaust. I was challenged on it by a European who said that, oh, you should be forgiving. And I thought to myself, and I said to the person, I said, well, you're not the person to tell me about forgiveness. But then what came to my mind is that, oh yes, in actual fact, if African beings are higher, then yeah, we should have a higher standard than Europeans. So that's my realization. So maybe stemming from coming to these classes, I come to realize that, yes, I should have a higher understanding than what that European was saying, or implying to me that I should have a higher standard. So they were right. I should be higher than them in understanding of whatever it is,
Yeah.
Jesus' message of forgiveness or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, we could go into, the master, these are trick words he's used, like forgiveness and mercy, and there's a thing called justice. How the master, because he used the word forgiveness, the master put it like this. Forgiveness is temporary transference of guilt, that's forgiveness, temporary transference of guilt from the forgiver, temporary transfer of guilt from the guilty to the forgiver. That's what forgiveness means. Temporary transference of guilt from the guilty to the forgiver. You're transferring the guilt or the punishment that the guilty has done to yourself. And mercy is temporary delay of justice. And justice basically means not for the amount sown, but for the amount grown. Because that is true justice. When a crime has committed, we don't have, nature does not forgive, does not forget, and there is no mercy. There's only justice, you see. So all these trick words that they try to play on the minds of the captive. Okay. So let's go back to the class today. Unless anyone's got any questions, go ahead, Martha.
So in terms of forgiveness, would you say that in that regard,
Yeah.
that it is important to have justice before forgiveness is given?
There is no forgiveness.
Right. So there's no such thing as forgiveness. Forgiveness is a hoax.
It's a hoax, yeah.
Right. So it's about justice. It's not about forgiving anybody for anything that they've done. It's about, has justice been dealt with in the situation?
That's it.
Right.
That's it. Hope that's members of the jury. I rest my case. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So somebody got questions on what's that, on Zoom? Is it? Oh, go ahead. Question. You've got questions on Zoom?
It's OSM.
OS.
And,
Go ahead.
it says, I think it's very safety. Greetings. I am just now tapping in, and I do have a question. What are your beliefs on the woman being God?
Okay. Okay, that's a good question. We do not, in wu-sabat, we teach we don't have a belief system. Because what it is that we've got to look at things from a scientific perspective. Okay, let's put it like this: the science really is quantum physics. Quantum physics is spirituality explained from a scientific perspective. So now, the reason why we say feminines are deities is because the fact that everything was created. Let's look at the planet Earth. Every man came out of the canal of a female.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. The DNA was supplied. The male DNA was supplied by the male, by the sperm. But when the sperm meets the ovum, all the creative processes takes place within the female, within the mother. Okay. So you were here before man, and all males came out of you, the females. And even in the English language, you can hear the word female, which is, you hear the word male is within inside the female. Male or man is within inside the woman. So everything came out of the female. That's on the physical. But within outside of the physical realm, there is no gender. There is only, what we call it, principles, male and female principles in the higher abodes. Okay, but with all due respect, the female is the deity. Okay, what has happened is for the past 6,000 years, we've been under, or the feminines has been under a patriarchal mindset. Right now, that's now dissipating, and the feminines, as we say, feminines, or Parvanastasu, the sacred feminines, you are now coming into rulership once again. Okay. I hope that answered that question for OSM.
There's another one from Mark. It's from Ray Sananda.
Go ahead.
It says, roundabout Zamal, what word do we use for a 9 verse in the all?
9 verse.
That's what it says.
What was? Okay. If you're going to say what word, it would be in Mispatia. It will be tasu makwan. Tasu makwan. Okay. But we will call that really a part of the Kalei makwanat, the multiverse. And then we have Kathir makwanat, the omniverse. But we would say, if you had to say 9 verse, it would be tasu. Tasu is what we refer to as the 9. Tasu makwan at. Okay. If you want to put it like that, you know. Okay. Any more on Zoom?
No.
No. Here on. Go ahead, Isabel.
I'm just you're talking about man came from the woman, or all men come from women, yes. But when I first got married, I thought I was making something bad when I was living outside of my wife, if you understand what I'm trying to say. You know, when I was inside through intercourse, I felt this is where I should be. I should be at home. So when I wasn't having intercourse, I felt I was somehow out of the marriage, as it were. I should always be connected to the woman through the intercourse.
You're right. The master teacher put it like this: when you exchange body fluid, regardless what it is, even a simple kiss, you are taking on the essence of the individual, their DNA. So you're taking on them. Once you exchange body fluids of any kind, you're taking on part of them. You see, so and they are taking a part of you. So you become interconnected with that individual, and not only that, that they're also their ancestors, their spiritual ancestors. You are now taking that on board of yourself as well. And not only that, if a man or woman has been with multiple partners, they're also inheriting all that as well. That becomes part of their genetic makeup. You see, so there's a lot that goes on when we exchange body fluids, and even the intellect of the individual, you're taking on that aboard. So basically, you're taking on everything of the individual when body fluids are exchanged. You see, so there is a lot. What we do, we teach our children before they have intercourse or before the exchange of body fluids. We teach them right knowledge. You see, so in actuality, in wu-sabat, we looked upon sex as a sacred act, very sacred act. There's a lot of things that takes place. Okay.
Sorry for the single people, but I understood that the sexual relationship was not just physical, but it was emotional, but also it could be spiritual. It could be spiritual if you understand, what is it you call it again? The Hindus have a science of oneness through the sexual union without the spilling of fluids of the man, anyway. They call it tantric.
That's right.
So, because I mean, I have observed that, how can I say, there's another, at the conclusion of sexual relationship, there's another level of consciousness. Let me put it that way. So I know that there is, experienced it just slightly, that there is an opening of consciousness after the
Yeah,
intimacy.
there is an art and science of sex that the master has put in a book called, I've got it here, yeah, The Lotus Scroll. He talked a lot about it in this particular scroll. It's worth getting. Let's see if I can find it here. I've got it here. Could you find it for you, fam? Yeah. So for those of you on Zoom, Clubhouse, or YouTube, this particular scroll, can you see that? Goes into it as well. It goes into it in there in depth. Okay.
Oh, the lotus. Yeah.
Lotus of Life. Yeah, it goes into it in depth there, and so take things to the next level. That scroll is worth purchasing. You purchase that scroll, and then you have better questions to ask. Okay. Right. So.
If I may,
Okay,
just ask. In Hinduism, the lotus signifies cosmic consciousness. If it opens, if your mind, this chakra opens out like that, like a lotus,
yeah,
it represents super or cosmic consciousness. But
yeah.
so that word lotus there, is it somehow in that direction of line of thinking?
Yeah, the lotus in we regard the lotus as being symbolic of the mother, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, M or the 1000, 1000, 1000, or M other, or the mother. You see. That's why the Romans, in their numerical system, they use the letter M as for 1000, 1000, which is really the M other. So there's a lot. So they knew our science, and they put it in their as part of their numerical system. You see. So okay. So now back to today's class, our origins and the all, and we said, what's the connection? Hey, we've got to test. We've got to test the family, see if they what they know. Because when we say all, we talk about. When we say the all, we regard the all in wu-sabat, or pa-pa-ut. You heard that term, pa-pa-ut? The all is all space, all matter, and all time. Absolute, infinite, and eternal in all directions. And our origins is coming from all as the all. That is our origins. And when we say as 9 ether beings, and we regard 9 ether as the combination of all existing chemicals, gases, formulas, and elements of natural nature. And this is what makes up our spiritual and physical composition. Okay, I had a little conversation at home earlier on, and he's talking about this particular subject, and he's saying how, let's say you got a pizza, that's how we put it, and you chop that pizza into sections, let's say into quarters, and let's say the pizza is the all. Now, you take a piece of that pizza, that piece, everything that's in that piece is in the whole.
Oh, the micro and macro.
Yeah, if the micro and the macro. That small piece of pizza, which you are composed of, everything that's in that small piece of pizza is in the whole big piece of pizza.
Yeah.
You see. However, take the next level as that is, however, so that makes you a part of the all as the makes you a part of the all in all. And when we say in all, we refer to existence. Because that pizza is also encased in something which is all space, all matter, and all time. We call all existence. So we exist as the all in all. That's why in our, what we call it, Decoded, in our affirmation, we say, I am a part of the all, and the all is a part of me.
Sorry, how do you say it in your language again? Sorry.
Oh, we will say
Pa.
Pa'ut, which is
Pa'ut.
Pa'ut is P-A
P.
A hyphen, because it's a hard Pa'ut, U-T hyphen, Pa'ut, which is the all expanding. All cannot expand, the all can expand. And we are the all in all. So that pizza, you can look upon it as the all. And a small portion is us. So everything in that pizza is in that portion that we are, we have at our possession, or what we are composed of.
Yeah.
So the question to ask is, what about the other races? Well, the other races, they are also of Pa'ut, because you cannot add to the all and you cannot take away from the all. For where would you get it and where would you put it? So other races are also part of the all. However, because of their etheric or spiritual composition, they have less ingredients in their slice than us. You follow? Not to say that means that they cannot make it back to the all. They can make it back to the all based upon their spiritual development as well. Okay? So now, the all is all existence. So when the master says you cannot take away from the all, or you cannot add to the all, if all, or since, or not if, since all is all existence, where are you going to, you can't take away from it, you can't take away from all existence, but where would you put it? You cannot add to all existence, for where would you get it from? You follow? So now, when the master says all is existence. I ask many people this, what does is mean? And they kind of scratch their head. It's existence. It's that simple. All is existence. So we say, what did we say? The all is I am. The all is what? Existence. I am. I am what? I am existence. The all can. I can. The all does. I do. So there's no differentiation between you and the all, because you are made up of the all. And the highest aspects of the all, we say in the first line. I'm in the divine love of the all expanding.
I'm in divine
love of the all expanding. The divine love. Ashok is divine love, divine unconditional love. So the bosom of the all is Ashok, divine love. That is the epitome of the all. And all love is in me. I'm in the divine love of the all expanding, and all love is in me. You see? And remember that we say the all expanding. All cannot expand, but we as the all can expand. Expand what? Expand our state of consciousness. You get that?
Oh. When you say expand our state of consciousness, has that any connection to apparently? I mean, I don't know from experience, but apparently the how you say the chakras get wider and wider as you go higher. I mean, from the base to the top. I mean, apparently they get wider and wider, like an energy circle or aura maybe, or something like that. I'm not sure. But I certainly got this image in my mind that there's maybe a connection between the increasing size of the aura according to the level of chakra development.
So what's the question?
Well, what you were talking about is an expansion of the...
Oh, got it. Yeah. When we talk in this sense, we need to expansion of the mind.
Yeah.
Okay. Expansion of
A
the
higher
mind.
level of consciousness, perhaps?
High level of consciousness, what they call super consciousness.
Oh, yes, super or cosmic consciousness. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's what the crown chakra, etc. Yeah. So this is what wu-sabat is here to do. Let's continue. Let's read this. Let me just.
No, this is mine, isn't it?
Yeah. Let me just read something from here. Okay, let me read this. This is okay, again from the same scroll, dimensional links. It ties into what you're just saying here. This talks about mental reason. Okay, let me start from 1. Read it. It says here 1. Likum ay mumrar kharudu em wunawap pamunwapo. For you, my beloved children of Wunawap, the Nawapians. 2. As I, Panababianon, transcribe for you, jewels of my divine eyes, so much of our renewed story called Wunawap, your way to salvation. You must the home overstand mind and mental, spirit and spiritual, omniverse and Wahu Makwan universe. You must understand the meaning of mind, the meaning of mental. We must understand the meaning of what we mean by spirit and spiritual. Understand what we mean by the term omniverse and universe. And the powers of mental reason into mind. Reason is intellect from outtellect, or intelligence from outintelligence. You know, we say Wunawap is right knowledge, right wisdom, and the right understanding that leads to a right overstanding that leads to sound right reasoning, with reasoning being the highest form of mental processing. So here now, Baba Yananand is now talking about this thing called reasoning, because reasoning is a living entity. Okay. Reason is intellect from outtellect, or intelligence from outintelligence. So reason basically is outside of this dimension. When we use the process of reasoning, it's from outside of this dimension. We call outtellect or outintelligence. That's something that's coming from outside of our genes, coming in outside of our genes as outintelligence and coming into our genes as intelligence. This also includes inspiration from outspiration. When you hear the word, when you read our scrolls and you hear words like anything out, you know that it pertains to something that's outside of this dimension, this 3D realm. This also includes inspiration for outspiration, and that is revelation from contact outside this dimension. There you go. All is linked to you. You are something, S-U-M, something from your links to what atomic weights would call nothingness, mental to mind to mind. So what is Baba Yana here saying is when he says something, we talk about that which is physical. We may say no thing, that which is non-physical, or for lack of a better word, spiritual. We would say things coming from the etheric realm. Okay, and there's a link which is mind, which is mental, coming from the mental reservoir to our mind, and when it comes to our mind, we regard that as being mind, M-I-N-E, as mind, M-I-N-D, and mental. So there is a mental reservoir of which we are accessing. Okay, let's continue reading. Oh, there you go. Reasoning is mentalism by the rules of natural nature with the help of other materials in space, and of course, which includes time, as in growth into being. What's the master mean here? As we begin to grow, we begin to absorb, or we begin to process things more from the process of thinking to reasoning. Our reasonability starts to grow or expand, okay? By way of time as in growth, in space and time. Reasoning becomes conscience, the distinguisher between right and wrong decisions, which is will. And that leads to conscious or creative energy in absolute nature. So we have reasoning involves our ability to discern right from wrong, and using the forces of reasoning, we become more aware, or our awareness starts to heighten. Get that? Reasoning reasons out. Reasoning reasons out all forms and senses, that which is needed for those forms to grow and survive in accord with and within their surroundings. Meaning that before we undertake any endeavor, we should reason things out based upon the environment that we're in. Before we make a decision, we should reason things out. And we should, when we say reason things out, as you read earlier on, we should decide, we should be conscious, meaning the decision that we make, if we make a decision, is it going to have a right, an agreeable outcome or a disagreeable outcome? This is what reason is, okay? Reasoning does what comes natural in nature by help of other supporting ether, because ether in general, that is including reason, is the mind at work with and from the reservoir of mental who is present throughout the Kale Makwana, the omniverse. So reasoning, meaning that when we start to reason or use sound right reasoning, we're now tapping in to the omniverse, okay? From whom all thoughts and thinking come to the mind to become mine or my own thoughts by way of my own reasoning, reacting with tissue which is material matter. I'll read that bit again. From whom all thoughts and thinking come to the mind, from the mental, to become mine or my own thoughts by way of my own reasoning, reacting with tissue which is material or matter. And when he says reacting with tissue, what he means here is that reacting with one, because when we think, what it is that we're getting thoughts which is etheric in nature, and it communicates with one brain cell to another brain cell by way of synapses, okay? Mm-hmm. So it's called reasoning. The highest form of that communication is called reasoning, okay? That's when he says reacting with tissue, which is material or matter. And matter is something, S-U-M thing, anything, and thinking come to the mind to become mine or my own thoughts. I've read that already. I'm sorry. And matter is something, let me say something, S-U-M thing, something, S-O-M-E, something, anything and everything, and occupies space, the all, the universe in omniverse, the thought in thoughts. So let you know that we are a universe as part of the omniverse, okay? And our connection to the omniverse is what we call my thoughts or my mind, and our mind is what links to the mental, and that mental gives us the link to the higher abodes or the omniverse, okay? That produced a brain made of tissue to regulate thoughts as thinking and reasoning. So what this basically means is that our brain, what's got to do with our origin? Anyway, our brain basically was produced by way of reasoning, okay? And the brain is our conduit to the higher planes. Hear this now. Then we talk about tissue or matter. For brain tissue with sparks of synapses which melts down to physical actions and reactions produces the intelligence, energy, reason. I'd just like to say that this particular scroll you're reading here, the dimensional links, you will read this in the scroll called emotional energy. Emotional energy goes in depth into what the master has written here. This is good to read as a precursor to, have I got it here? I think I've got that scroll here. So this one here, natural ether energy. It's a precursor to this scroll, because once you have an understanding of this scroll, to take you to the next level, you will read this scroll. Okay.
What does it say?
Natural ether energy. Ether energy. So I would recommend, fam, read the Master Secrets Dimensional Links. Read that. Then, after you read that, read this scroll, which will take you to another level of thinking. And what another scroll I would recommend after reading this scroll is called The Neuroscience of Wu-Nawab. After you read that scroll, come to class and start teaching what you've read. Hey, do you know what? If you don't want to teach, teach your friends then. You know what I mean? That's how it starts. Each one, teach one. Because fam, Moisar, family on Clubhouse and Zoom and on YouTube, when you're teaching is what makes the doctrine come alive. Okay? Okay. Let's continue to read. Any questions before we... I don't want to babble on.
There's quite a few ones.
Go ahead, Zoom. Sorry, fam.
Okay, yeah. Atum Ray Kamet says, how can someone tell if they are having a genetic explosion, and what are the symptoms to look for?
You know, a genetic explosion, when we use the term genetic explosion, it means an awakening. Meaning, it's like wow. It makes sense, you know. I always thought that it's an awakening. A genetic explosion means it's an awakening. Within your head is what? Genes. In your intel genes, intelligence. That's what genetic explosion basically means. That which was once asleep or dormant wakens up. That's a genetic explosion. Wow. Do you know what? You know what it basically means? You've now raised up to another level. Let's say you was on level 1. Now you just moved up a notch to level 2. That's a genetic explosion. You've waken up.
A light bulb moment.
A light bulb moment, correct. But hear this now. The more genetic explosion, there comes a point, fam, there comes a point when you begin to have multiple genetic explosions to the point whereby you're reading the scrolls and you now be able to see the scrolls interdimensionally. And once that starts to happen, guess what? You can't hold it in. You've got to now talk to someone. And but that is a good sign. That's what the master's here for, to awaken. And apart from that, of all that's been said, it is a part of breaking the spell. A genetic exposure, you just broke a portion of the spell. Okay?
So now we have another one.
Go ahead.
It's Titan 4489. So does that mean that if someone steals and or has shown dishonor and has deeply offended me, I should seek justice and not turn the other cheek?
That's right. Turn the other cheek, so you can slap the other cheek, and when no, yeah. You should seek justice. But hear this though, that remember that saying, for every action, there's a reaction in the opposite direction. What goes around comes around. No one escapes justice. And let's say a dude commits a crime, and because he drops down dead, he's forgiven. Nah, there's someone on the other side wait for him. And not only that, that's when he crosses over. Not only that, his own lineage who are still alive, they also got to pay the price as well.
The karmic debt.
Exactly.
A very, very quick one. If bad things are happening to people, basically they're receiving their justice because they've done bad things to people, then does that mean that you are doing wrong by trying to right what's happening to that person? That makes sense? Because you're essentially working against justice that is working.
That's right. Do you know something? Is that it's like this. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's say somebody breaks into your house, and you have to defend your household, your inhabitants. As it happens, right? Because you give the geezer a little tap, and that's it. He's dead. Who's committed the crime? Because here you're defending yourself and your family. It's either, what's that cliche? Kill or be killed. You see, but the law is so corrupt that they would defend the guy who broke into your house, or the more favor would be lenient towards him than would be to you. That's how corrupt this system is.
But what I mean is that, say if somebody sustains a leg injury from a hit and run heist that they commenced to. Now, it is wrong for them to have even gone into that heist in the first place. I'm not saying it's good that they broke their legs, but at the end of the day, that is justice being served to you for the wrong that you've done, right? So if you try to then nurture that person who's had their leg broken, what you're doing is you're working against justice. You must let them feel the pain. Am I wrong?
Okay, so now the guy, he commits a crime, like in a hit and run. You know the guy that driving the car, he does a hit and run, and he breaks his leg in the process. And you, the nurse, now you come to fix the leg. You should let the man feel the pain. Let him.
Yeah, let him feel the pain. I'm not saying you're not going to allow. You're going to do things to stop him from healing. But as far as you're concerned, any healing ability that comes to you is not going to come from me as the nurse because of what you've done. You must feel the pain now.
Oh, okay. So, do you know something? Is that what would you do? You put it this way. What would you do? You, the nurse, you know that it's a hit and run, and this guy.
I'd bring them food and water and let them scream. They're not getting no paracetamol from me.
You're a harsh woman. You're a harsh woman.
Hey, you know,
It's true.
it's true. Yeah.
I could feel like that. I
You
could
know,
feel like that. Yeah, I would definitely. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what to say to that. You know what I mean? Let's say you're a surgeon and the guy gets a bullet wound and in his heart, from a hit and run, and he's part of the crime. He's a criminal. He got a bullet wound, and you just say, "Well, get some food and water."
Because you see, there's a difference between duty and going above and beyond.
Yeah.
You can fulfill your duty and do the things that you're supposed to do, but then there is a boundary. There's a point where you go, I will do no more than that. Because me doing any more than that is you not receiving your justice. That makes sense.
What if then you heal the guy, you heal the geezer, and let's say for something happens whereby you say to him, you heal him, and let's say you are a surgeon and after he got healed, you come to him and say, well, do you know that you did such and such and such and such? And by you talking to him, change his ways. Because you know that many people have done a crime, they've gone inside and they changed. You know?
But the change in the ways should come from what they do after that, not from them saying that they've changed their ways, because words are fleeting.
But I'm not saying, I'll say that, let's say he changed his ways, meaning that he committed a crime, you healed him. Obviously, when the guy gets healed, he's gone in the slammer, you know, and done his time. But while he was inside, he started to change his ways. And after 15 years inside, he comes out and now he wants to repay the debt. He wants to change the karma.
But this is the justice.
That's the justice.
But if there's no proof of that, then there is no proof of justice. So therefore, it all lays in limbo.
No, justice is never in limbo. Because let's say the guy does the crime, he done the crime, he pays the time, okay? And let's say he, for whatever reason, he drops down dead, but on the other side, it's not like the slate's wiped clean, because you've got beans on the other side. And not only that, let's say a person commits a crime, let's say a person kills a girl, a schoolgirl on the road, right? You must know that her ancestors will be fuming on that other side. They will be fuming like you won't believe. Because they're there. They're there. The witness that one of their daughters got taken out by another guy for no reason whatsoever. From the other side, they will make sure justice is done from that side, from the non-physical to the physical. He may go inside for about five years, but according to the laws of justice, it has not been fulfilled. Their ancestors will be fuming like you won't believe. You see? So this is not the when we die, it's not the finality of existence, because we still are existing in the non-physical. You see? It's just that the physical has gone back. The earth has reclaimed the physical, but the non-physical is still in existence. And that individual still has that karma, or that debt still has to be paid. So there's no escaping. You get me? Any more questions? All right.
Two of them are.
Any more questions about that?
Yeah, have Orange Timothy.
Go ahead.
What if God is above gender?
God. Yeah, God is outside of Hades now. That's a good word, because you can have God as a physical being. God can be physical, God can be male and or female. But as we said earlier on, outside of the physical, there is gender or masculine and feminine principles, you see. Because outside of the physical, there's no need for sexual organs. You follow? So, yeah, that's how. Let me just read something based upon that question from a scroll called The Sacred Wisdom of Tahuti. A very powerful scroll indeed. It's really highly recommended to, can you see that? Sacred Wisdom of Tahuti? Yeah.
Did you say Tahuti?
Yeah, The Sacred Wisdom of Tahuti.
Oh.
Is, you know.
God of wisdom, yeah.
That's right. You know, Panda Babyanand is in that seat of Tahuti. let's just read what it says here about gender, just so we all have a understanding of gender. There are, page open just like that. Okay, this is page 77. It's called The Doctrine of Gender. Hear this now. Saying to that question. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Hear that? Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. Again, there is no real gender except what appears in the physical realm and in the spiritual realm. You are not male or female, you are God. And this is just the introduction to this. It reads here. This doctrine embodies the truth that there is gender manifested in everything spiritual and nothing, in everything physical and nothing spiritual. The masculine, I'll read that again because how he's written it, you've got to comprehend what Baba's saying here. This doctrine embodies the truth that there is gender manifested in everything physical and nothing spiritual, meaning that which is no thing as opposed to SUM something. So in the spiritual realm, there's also gender. Okay, the masculine and feminine principles ever at work, the need to establish authority. This is true only on the physical plane, but not the mental, nor even the spiritual planes. So what he's saying here, I'll read that again. This is only, okay, read that bit again. The masculine and feminine principles ever at work, the need to establish authority. Because I'm a masculine, I'm the one in authority, and because you're a feminine, you're not. Okay? This is true only on the physical plane. Only on the physical plane is there that authority based upon gender, masculine and feminine. But not on the mental or even the spiritual planes. No, hear this now, fam. No soul or spirit has need of gender, for they do not reproduce or copulate. Outside of the physical, reproduction does not occur as it does on the physical. There's only principles, okay? On the physical plane, the doctrine of gender manifests as sex. On the higher planes, it takes higher forms, but the doctrine is ever the same. The doctrine or the principle of gender is still the same on the higher planes, but it's only on the physical planes there is differentiation or authority, as we said earlier on in the class, that for the past 6,000 years there's been a patriarchal or a masculine authority as opposed to a feminine, okay? Meaning that the feminines have a different mindset or perception of things than a masculine, okay? Does that make sense? Okay. No creation, physical, is possible without this doctrine. An understanding of its laws will throw light on many a subject that has perplexed the minds of many. Yes, sex is of delight, as is what it breeds. Lust, rape, caused by gender. Really, they're talking about really the masculine gender predominantly. The doctrine of gender works ever in the direction of generation, regeneration, and creation. Everything and everybody contains the two elements or doctrines, or this great doctrine within it, him or her. What does he mean by this? He explains in the next sentence. Every male thing has the female element also. Every female contains also the male doctrine. So every male has feminine within him, and every female has masculine within her, because it's a principle. Okay. The differentiation is only because of the physical plane. If you would understand the doctrine of mental and creation, birth, growth, regeneration, and regeneration, you must understand and study this Egyptian doctrine. It contains the solution of many mysteries of life. We caution you that this doctrine has no reference to the many base, pernicious, and degrading lustful theories, teachings, and practices which are taught under fancy titles, which are a prostitution of the great natural doctrine of gender. Such base revivals of the ancient infamous forms of phallicism tend to ruin flesh, body, and person. And let's stop there. Hear this now. It's got here. Such base revivals. I'm going to give you more genetic explosions in a minute. Such base revivals of the ancient infamous forms of phallicism tend to ruin flesh, body, and person, and the Egyptian has ever sounded the warning note against these degraded teachings which tend toward lust, licentiousness, and perversion of nature's doctrines. Let's stop there. Do you know that when a man ejaculates into a woman and the sperm fertilizes the egg, the woman's natural body tendencies is to attack that sperm or that fertilized egg. So a protection. So the woman's body has to form a protection. That is letting you know that sex wasn't a natural part of life, or by way of a male, because the male sperm is looked upon as a foreign body to the female. Why do you say that? Because remember that women had the operation of their Bartholin gland. And we know that the Bartholin gland is that gland that gave the woman the ability to procreate on her own without the aid of a male. And so that was nature's way of reproduction. Do you get that?
So the so-called defect that they call it in the NHS of women who initially attack their fetus rather than nurturing it is not actually a defect. It's what the body the body trying to basically protect itself because of the unnatural.
That's a foreign invader to our body. So what the body does now, it has to create a defense mechanism against that. So the higher beings had to insert that into the female so her own natural defense systems wouldn't kill the growing fetus.
But what if you still have, because some people do, what if you still have the ability to basically protect, or like basically overprotect, and so then you struggle to conceive because your body's always attacking your fetus? Because that's something that happens to some women.
Oh yeah. Now what you're saying there now takes it to another level, because now that also has to tie into blood type. Because remember, you've got the Rh negative and the Rh positive. Mm-hmm. And if a female is Rh negative, she has a defense mechanism inbuilt in her that if the male is a Rh positive, her DNA, her blood, and the serum that it would emit would detect that and kill the unborn child. Now, with that being said, remember our teachings is that the Cro-Magnon was killing off what do you call it? You had the Cro-Magnon, you had the Flugeroids. Is that right? No, the Neanderthals. The Cro-Magnons was doing so much killing that their creators, the Pleiadians, had to create another being, the Denisovans. The Basque female had within her the Rh negative gene or the Rh negative blood type. So when the Cro-Magnons now had sexual intercourse with these Basque people, females, she would kill off the fetus so they wouldn't reproduce. And over time, that's how the Cro-Magnon became extinct, because they are no longer reproducing. Now that is so that means then that these Pleiadians are what you call geneticists. So with that mindset, when you read your Bible, Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, when it says, and God said, which is Elohim, let us make man in our image and after our likeness, that would render God or the Elohim geneticists, meaning they know how to create a man by of genes, genetic engineering. You follow? And so even the Anunnaki, because these are the Pleiadians, that Genesis story about the Pleiadians and the Anunnaki, and so also our overseers, they are also geneticists of the highest order as well. Ptah and them, and Sakamta and them higher beings, they are also geneticists, because they put certain insertions into our genes so that when the time arises, this particular gene will switch on. For example, like the HAR1 gene, which is located on chromosome number 20, and you've got the other genes like the FOXP2 gene, I think that's chromosome number 7. So you've got different genes that when it is triggered will begin to activate. Okay, so our overseas, they are also geneticists, and they are geneticists of the highest orders. You see, so they put certain things in place. Here it is, to the point whereby, what's going on here? I think I switched off. Oh, I switched off. They are geneticists of the highest order. So they knew that in this day and time, when Partner Babylonian comes around again, that certain things would be triggered in our brain, in our DNA. You see, so yeah. Okay. Well, so that's it with the doctrine of gender. Could go on and on, but not on and on. I hope that answered the question about God being, about gender and God. Any further questions on Zoom, please? Or is that it?
Right, Jamal. We have Kaiser Charles. When we have a chance, can we ask, what is the 3-eye atlas? Not sure what it is exactly.
That's a good question. Unfortunately, I'll tell you as much as what I hear on YouTube or something like that. So do have to wait and see about that. I know everybody always asks about 3-eye atlas, but I know just as much as the next guy.
All
Okay.
right. We have another one.
Go ahead.
Ray Sananda, Musa. What about those who become lower than ghosts, ether? Are they still within the all and part of all, or do they get deleted permanently without a recycle bin option to restore?
Right, that's a good question. You can't. Everything is within the all. You can't add or take away from the all. But what will happen is that as what will happen through time and age, they will disintegrate or cease to exist. They would cease to exist, disintegrate, because there is not, after 5 ether, there's not enough power for longevity. What we mean by that is, let's say, for example, you've got the Caucasoid male and female. The female is 6 ether and the male is 5 ether. In order for Caucasians to sustain their existence on this planet Earth, the male can't do it because he is of a lesser composition. He is of a 5 ether composition, and also he is not the progenitor of life. The female is, and she is of sixth ether. So the Caucasian female is of a higher composition than the Caucasus male. So the female, in order for the female, the Caucasus female, to prolong her existence, she's got to mate with other than her own kind. So especially with a Nadu, with a Negroid male, she needs to do that. If she doesn't do that, then she too would fade out of existence. And that is what's actually happening right now. Now, from a scientific perspective now, because we look at things scientifically, on the tips of our chromosomes, we have what's referred to as telomeres. So a female has 3 telomeres on the tips of each of her 8 stems. That means she has 24 telomeres on her 2 X chromosomes. A man only has 21, correct? 21. He's missing 3 tips from that one stem. So now the length of the telomeres vary from masculine and feminine, and from gender to gender. So the Nadu, female and male, have longer telomeres than all other races. The telomeres basically means the ability, it's like your telomeres determine your longevity, a race's longevity, the telomeres, right? You could research this. So now, the Caucasian female, in order for her to prolong her genealogy, she's got to mate with a Nadu male. Do you get that? She's got to procreate with a Nadu male, and her offspring will survive. That's the only way she can prolong. But hear this though, so now that her offspring now will become what they call mulatto, mixed seed. And if her offspring started to continue mating with a Nagaru, it will wash out that Caucasus genes after, I think, about 4 generations. After 4 generations, it will wash out that Caucasus genes. So basically, and there'll come a point whereby the Caucasus will cease to exist. The length of their telomeres was actually pre-programmed by way of their own overseers, the Pleiadians. So I hope that explained the situation. I hope that made sense. Okay.
Last question.
Go ahead.
Saket Ra, Ray, so if you can't completely destroy evil, just transform it, will evil reign again, or always have this battle with evil?
Okay, that's a evil, a strong word. Okay, hear this now. In order for evil to rule, the atmosphere has to be conducive to sustain its presence. That's why if you go in an environment where there's a lot of war, you can feel the tension within the atmosphere. If you go to a war-torn environment, you can feel the tension within the atmosphere, because evil or killing is heavy and thick. As long as that atmosphere is present, evil would subside, would reside and subside. Once you change the atmosphere, there's nothing for evil to subsist off of. Do you get that? So now we are coming out of what's referred to as a death cycle, and we now are in a life cycle, okay? And the atmosphere is changing. But as you know, as we all know, agreeable or disagreeable, let's say, disagreeableness is not going to give up without a fight. And you know that fight, right now we have evil versus the wicked, but there is a battle taking place. And not only that, to wipe out the evil, natural nature is saying, right, time has arrived, and replenishing is needed. Meaning that nature is saying that we've got to, hey, you know what, take them out. And that's why those meteorites are coming. It's what it is. It's nothing new, because this planet is what, 11 billion years old? As they say. Let's say 11 billion years old, 4 billion years old. Let's say 4 billion. Let's say the planet Earth is 4 billion years old. How many replenishing has occurred in those 4 billion years? Civilizations have come and gone over those 4 billion years. Civilizations that have reached the height of perfection, that have had their day, time and cycle, they've come and gone. You had, even these late days in time, to the past 6,000 years, you had many empires. The Roman Empire, you had the Persian empires, all these, master teacher put it like this, all these empires looked great in their day and time. But here it is, they too had their day, time and cycle, and they've gone. And right now, a replenishing is happening. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. And the master teacher has written this in a book called Pa-Mut-Sahu the Nine. And it's also, and this same replenishing is also mentioned in the book of Revelation. I think it's around about Revelation chapter 18. And another, if you read Revelation chapter 12, verse 7, it tells you about a war that took place in the heavens, and with Michael and these angels fought against the dragon and his angels. And you know that Michael is here again with his angels, and the war is taking place as we speak. And when we say as we speak, we're talking literally, because it's right knowledge versus trick knowledge that is taking place. Michael and his messengers, those Tasaba or his army, those Sabaeans, against the dragon and his army, those Luciferians. Okay? It's taking place right now. Did that answer the question, Malta?
Did you want the next question?
Oh, yes, please. Yeah. Yes,
okay. If wu-sabat is a genetic doctrine, then how can it be for everyone?
Okay, that's it is for everyone, because it touches everyone in their genes. When we say genetic doctrine, we mean everyone, because we say wu-sabat, hey, wu-sabat is not just for a bunch of brothers and sisters just hanging out, in the corner. It's what we call, it's universal. We call it our spiritual science and universal knowledge. Look at wu-nawab, wu-sabat, as the old blood type. Is for everyone. We're here to wake up everyone. Partner Babi Nanan, he said he loves everyone, is his friend. He hasn't got one friend, he goes, the whole world is his friend. So this doctrine is for everyone. We've got to spread this doctrine to all four corners of the world. It's universal, because we are here to give that information as information, so that we can align ourselves with the Galactical Federation, so we could elevate. And those that do not ascribe or subscribe to this doctrine, they will go down. Now, in saying that, each race has their own culture, or their own identity, or their own educational program. But they originally got it from us. And as time went on, the right knowledge got corrupted into trick knowledge, into what we call opinions, or in Misbatir, the word we use is za'am, which is za'am at opinions, and from opinions is where they got religions from, based upon all intelligent societies had a way of life based on actual facts. And as we said, everything is born, it grows, matures, declines, and it dies. And now the resurrection is now taking place. The resurrection cycle is now occurring as we speak. It's for everybody. And when you say a genetic doctrine, is wu-sabat, is that doctrine that will resonate within the DNA, within the gene, within the chromosomes of each individual who would accept it. Okay. So, however, it resonates more. It really resonates more with us as Nagara Nadu Salah, the Negro race. Okay, it's our own, it's our own stuff, brought to us by way of one of our own. Okay. Hope that makes sense, fam. Any more questions?
No more questions.
Cool, so we're up to date now. Right. We talking about, what's the class called? Oh yeah, our origin and Pa'ot, we talking about that, or our origins in the all, as the all. That's right, yeah, that's what he's talking about. Okay, let me just read something here for you, fam. Okay. I just want to read something here pertaining to... Okay, let me just read this here. And this is basically... Okay, from the same scroll. What's this scroll called? Dimensional links again, page 6, and it reads, I'll start from verse 76. Now, let me start from 72. And this ties into the question about if Wunawap, since Wunawap is a genetic doctrine, how is it for everybody? Hear this now. This is verse 72, page 6 of Dimensional Links. Wunawap is here to relink you to your own. When you use the word relink, means that the link was broken, now you have to amend it, relink us to our own. Okay, let's continue reading. 73. The reasoning of your own natural nature as Tartarians, who originates and grows persons and things into system order, is deep concentration on black genetic magic or your chemistry, also called alchemy. 74. We as Nagaru Negroids are the metal copper, as that is what Nagaru means, copper or metal copper. And as metal or matter, it must be transformed into gold. Cu29 copper to Au79 gold. I'm going to stop there. As we said earlier on in the beginning of class, now if you heard me, I said, we are known as Pa Mun Wapo, the Nwapians, Pa Musabato, the Sabaeans, and Pa Mun Batu. And the master puts the Nubian nation. But if you look at that word Munbat or Nabat, you see it means gold. We are the golden children, that golden nation. So all these, Munwapo, Musbato, Munbato, Munsaru, these are all descriptions of us, named by us for us. You get that? It's got here, we as Nagara Nadu, Negroids, are the metal copper, as that is what Nagara means, copper or metal copper. And as metal or matter, it must be transformed into gold. This doctrine, wu-sabat, is that doctrine, is that way, is the way, pa tarok, the way to transform us back into golden children. Pa mun bat o. 75. Alchemy changes base metals into gold, so we were called chem, chamamu, ham, chamat, chemit, chemicals, okay, or black. 76. We kept the secrets of Tartarians, transformations, transportation, levitation, teleportation, transmutation, and translation. These are the secrets that we kept, and we are now in that day and time where these secrets will be revealed to us once again. 77. The black magic or black magnetic mind power that brings the science powers of matter and vacuum. 78. And that is done by phases of general reason that borders on individual spirit strength into one. The meaning of black magic or black magnetic mind power is talking about us using our reasonability once again. More information of what Baba's written here, go in that scroll there, natural ether energy, that goes into more depth about what he's written here. 78, read that again. 77, the black magic or black magnetic mind power that brings the science powers of matter and vacuum. 78, that's what we call natural ether energy. 78, and that is done by phases of general reason that borders on individual spirit strength into one. 79, yet individual spirit powers do not create physical things unless they are willing and ready to be used up in the growth of creation and not be an individual by a genetic group as one. When we come together, that is when our mind powers will start to, you know that saying, what's that saying? There is strength within unity. When we start to amalgamate our minds together, we will produce greatness, but not as an individual. 80. That which is the original reason, Nawapians, which is the original reason Nawapo Nawapians were made into form by the creative energy who grew this one Wahu Makwan universe inside the omniverse of natural nature, and the original persons, patais, and things of them, atoms, the building blocks of life. We came into existence by way of the science. We came into being by way of the science of reasoning. 81. That is Nupu, the science of natural nature, the original creative Kawat force. The science of it. You've got Nuwapo, science of sound like reasoning, and you've got Nupu, the science of natural nature, as opposed to Zupu. I can explain it later on. 82. Original reason is primary reason. 83. Original reason, 9 reason. 84. Nawapo becomes Wu Nawap. So we say Wu Nawap, which is the culture or the culture, Wu Nawap. Nawapo, which is the people, and Nupu, which is, as he says here, is the science of natural nature or the creative science, Nupu. For each new cycles of years, you've got Nupu and Wu Nawap, Nupu and Wu Nupu. 85. Wu Nawap being 9 reasoning and 9 mind, which is 9 etheric beings cycle. 86. 9 ether in general and is indeed resurrection of the mental dead with the physical dead. You've got the mental dead and you've got the physically dead. When we raise, you got those who was crossed over and they never had Wu Nawap. So they are the physically dead. We are alive, we are physically alive, but mentally dead. And Wu Nawap would raise us up from being mentally dead to be mentally alive. And because of that, as we begin to raise up, and we talked earlier on about the genetic DNA explosions, those DNA or those genetic explosions, those DNA explosions have an effect on your ancestors who are physically dead. It would affect them, so they will raise up in that realm as well. So as you raise up, they too will raise up in that realm and raise up to the heights whereby the ancestors who are on the higher plane can reach them. Because our ancestors who are on the higher plane can only come down so far. And we've got those who are of our lineage who are, when they died, they never reached that plane whereby the ancestors could reach them. So we who are alive, having this genetic doctrine, would raise, as we raise up, those on our relatives who crossed over, who never made the grade, they too will raise up, and the ancestors who are on this level here can grab them and move them up higher. That's how it works. As above, so below. So below, as above. So just because, so wu-sabat has an effect on the dead as well as the living. You hear that? So meaning that you become the savior of your own. Okay. You've got a picture here of the Ankh and the Ankhi, the double resurrection. The Ankhi represents the double resurrection. Okay. This is our symbols, you know, that the masters actually reintroducing it to us in this day and time. Not a new, symbols are not new. 87. People who wish to remain ignorant about the actual facts and rules of our natural nature are in a coma state, a deep sleep, or raqay shalil nawam, spell of sleep. Hear that? People who wish to remain ignorant about the actual facts and rules of our natural nature are in a coma state, a deep sleep, a spell of sleep. Wu-nawab is the positive sahamat powers of nature that reveals the facts of positive nature to you as Nawapians. Now hear this now. 89, because you've got Nupu, you also got Zupu. Hear this now. And Zupu, Zuen, Zion, is the negative powers of unnatural nature that covers up facts and sadat, truth, with religious khazabat, lies, opinions, which is another word for opinions is za'am or za'amat, fictions, legends, historical, historiography, that of a historian who tells his stories all about others past. Let's stop there, because remember we said when you got Revelation chapter 12 verse 7, it reads, Michael and these angels fought against the dragon and these angels, and their place was no longer found in heaven. They were cast out to the planet Earth and did deceive the nations. So running simultaneously, we have Nupu and Zupu. We have right knowledge and trick knowledge running simultaneously on the planet, and it is by way of the trick knowledge where they have deceived many. You hear that? That's what he's talking about here. Zupu is the negative powers of unnatural nature that covers up the facts and truth with religious lies, opinions, fictions, etc. 90. The liar of all Mukhzabat liars. I got something you got here 91. Nanar, Zuen, Enzu, Zionists, and their religious books from Torah to Talmud, from Gospel to Catechisms, from Quran to Hadith, the use of the world, media, TV, computers, cinemas, books, plays, and on and on and on. This is how they affect and infect us. Okay, but not for long now, not any longer, because we've got Wu-nawab. I'm going to stop there. So I hope that answered that question. Whatever the question was. Any more questions, anybody? Clubhouse is kind of quiet today. What's going on? Any questions in the house? The chat? No questions? Hobby, you soaking it in. Huni Kufre, something to say. Okay, Huni Kufure, great. We sent you an invite. Come up, Zamal. Good. Huni Kufure. Want to say something, Zamal? Huni.
Some others, I've got some on
Okay, go ahead.
Zoom.
Go ahead.
Yeah?
Go ahead.
Okay. So this is from OSM and it's Om H. Delano. Can you please explain where religion came to be again?
Okay, yeah. Okay, religion has its origins in. Religion has its origins. Well, let's read it again. Religion has its origins from Sumerian and Babylonian tablets, that and the Tartarian Egyptian mystery systems that was plagiarized, watered down, and fed to the people to spell bind them. That's the origins of it. What we mean by that is, if you look at the Torah, the first book of the Bible, Genesis. Even the word Genesis means genealogy of Isis. You know, Isis is ancient, or Asset, goes back to ancient Egypt. Okay, and when they look at the first man, they're called Adam. You find that's very similar to the word atum, as in the single cell, which is coming from the Egyptian atum, as in atum. The whole of your Bible is nothing more than, as we said earlier on, is nothing more than plagiarized teachings from tablets that predate the Bible. That's, as you read earlier on, the Numa Elise, the Atrahasis, the Tablets of Etana, and also other Gilgamesh epics, and also the Egyptian mystery systems as well. So it's just a tool used to spellbind the people. Okay, so that's where its origins lies. See? And a lot of it's got to do. The master always said this, is that a lot of it, again, you always say it goes back to the language. Once you're able to once you look at the meaning of words, your path becomes much clearer. You begin to see much more. And when we say, for example, we say the word Sabaeans or Nawapians, is there in the Bible. Okay, you've got to know how to you've got to know the language, especially of the Hebrew and the Greek, as well as the English, and of course Mispatia as well, and you're able to tie it all in. So I hope that helps. It has its origins basically in tablets. Religion, or the Bible and the Quran, has its origins in tablets that predate them by thousands of years. Okay.
I've got another question as well.
Go ahead.
What does the Galactic Federation do? What do we know about it? I think it helps worlds become tip one, tips to civilians, and so how does wu-sabat help us Earthlings become citizens?
Oh, that's a very long question. Okay, the Galactic Federation. Let me just read an excerpt from the Holy Tablets where the Master touches on that quite briefly, so I can find it. Okay, let me find that particular excerpt about the Galactic Federation. In here, the Master, what the Master says here is that, okay, I found it. This is the Holy Tablets. Look at the I read between so much that I become like papyrus. Okay, this is from chapter 1 of the Holy Tablets, tablet 2, page 14. We're looking at tablet 2, verse 29. Now, let me go back. Okay, let me start from verse 27. It reads, Leviathan, we talked about that earlier on, the serpent people, one of the reptilian seeds, or the Luciferians, have been trying to gain control of this planet for many thousands of Earth years. They are called the sex spirit force, also called porne. They are able to seduce and deceive all those with desires on Earth, turning lust to luster, thereby attracting and controlling with it, as Nekeba was seduced by the divine powers of lust. It is the death of divinity and the birth of mortality. You're talking about this sex force that's been ruling. Earlier on we talked about the sex force, okay? Overindulgence of sex, the feminine and masculine lose their divinity. They link back to the higher abodes, and the birth of mortality, they remain mortals. 29. That's why the Intergalactic Confederation quarantined the planet. Because of that, because we're deviating from our true pristine state and reason why we was placed here. We deviated from that. But what helped that deviation was the forces of porne, or lust and luster. That's why the Intergalactic Confederation quarantined the planet. Can't escape it, mate. If enough entities, human beings, were looking for freedom from the control of the Luciferians, the Intergalactic Confederation will remove these forces from the Earth, the quarantine. Not only these forces, these sex forces, it will remove them from the Earth. 30. Yet humans love to lust. Let me read that again. Yet humans love to lust and lust to love, expressing energy in motion, becoming emotional, overexerting their emotions, bringing about their spiritual death. Did you know that when Panababyanana puts here, yet humans love to lust, lust to love, he's actually talking about the feminines. Do you know that? By the youth, humans, talking about the feminines. Keep that in your mind, and let's go back to the beginning of this scroll. If you go back to verse 10 of tablet 1, chapter 1, this is verse 10, page 1, and it reads, I'll start from verse 8, because it ties in. Verse 8, you should know that eventually the time will come when these supreme beings, the Anunnaki, we would say Parnatharu or the Riskians, or the higher beings, would have to descend upon this planet Earth in order to guide the inhabitants back towards their home in and beyond the stars. These are the 24 elite. Well, the 144,000, but from the 144,000 there'll be the 24 elite. Thereby helping them to become once again the supreme beings of the pure green light, the ethereal energy that they once were. Remember Revelation 12 verse 7, Michael and these angels, forget to dragon these angels, because these angels were the army, those Saba, those Sabaeans, those of the green light, as opposed to the dragon and his angels, those of the amber light. Okay, thereby helping them to become once again the supreme beings of the pure green light, ethereal energy that they once were. But first, one must be sent to prepare a way, and that one is myself, Panababyananda. Verse 10, and so it was, for once humans, basically the feminines here, became rulers. So for once humans became rulers over the planet Earth, you were ruling. You gradually forgot your purpose in life was to gain your way back towards the sustainer, which would be the token home. But instead, you became engrossed in your own desires. Over time, not something that happens instantaneous, over time, and the forces of Leviathan didn't help in that either. The forces of lust and luster. 11. While in pursuit of physical gratification and material gains, humans forgot the purity with which they were formed. 12. As a result, you have strayed from the original ways of the universe and your spiritual path that led you to your true destiny, universal right knowledge, right wisdom, and the right overstanding onto sound right reasoning called Nawapu. Okay? Now we are in that day and time where the dimensional shift is occurring, and by way of wu-sabat, you are regaining your divinity, you are regaining your powers once again to become rulers once again. Okay? So, and the Galactical Federation, there's a Council of 9, which is called Pa Mutsahu. The Council 9, of which Panda Babianan is one of them, who sits on that council. And I remember he said many years ago that he was, as they had a galactical meeting, and he was saying he was of those who agreed to push the button on this life form, because we were hopeless. Then other, they're not worth the time, nor space, or energy. Push the button. And other higher members said, no, give him a chance. Then he said, years after that, the higher beings now said, push the button. And he goes, no. There are some good ones here. Let's continue the mission. Okay? So we have a lot to thank the Master for, because he's a prominent member on the council. Okay? So now, excuse me. He sacrificed himself again for 23 years, being in the belly of the beast for our sake, to raise us up, to give us this wu-sabat, wu-nawab, Tartarak the way. Okay? Any more questions on Zoom or Clubhouse? Excuse me. I notice everyone on Clubhouse is kind of quiet. What's going on?
We've got a question on Zoom, Mark.
Okay, go ahead, please.
It's Claude Tadiwa Moroi. Do we have to go through something to experience nothing?
Do we have to go through something to experience nothing?
To us, Mark.
That's a really good question, because the answer is yes. When we say something, we talk about that of the physical realm. When we say nothing, we talk about that of the spiritual realm. Okay? So we have to go through the physical realm to, as part of our experience. We are here to experience, we're here to experience. This physical plane is a learning school. And we're here to learn. And what we learn, we're meant to translate that learning process to help us elevate spiritually, or help us elevate by way that realm of nothingness. Now, experiences can be made by way of personal experience or third-hand experiences. And also, hear this, to help us in our journey, even when we sleep, we will get impressions, or, hear this word, outspirations, to help us, give us that, we will receive, even in our dream state, when we go to sleep, we receive outspirations to help, to inspire us when we wake up. So we get inspirations from the outspirations when we are asleep. But it's not only related to when we sleep, because we can receive outspirations even whilst we are awake. Okay? And that, another word for outspiration is called intuition. Okay? And we know that really we should use another word, outtuition. There's inspiration and aspiration. There's intuition. We have to say outtuition. So which is coming from outside this earth plane. So we can receive that once we are even awake. Even in a daydreaming state, because a dreaming state is when you are daydreaming, you're also operating on a higher frequency than this beta level wake state frequency into the alpha level. We're dipping into the alpha level when we daydream. And there are exercises we can do. Daydreaming state is also one of them. Also knowing how to keep your mind clear. Just try and think of nothing. Don't have no thoughts coming into your mind, and try and hold it for as long as possible. But you don't wrestle with it, and that will help your abilities or help you develop the ability of intuition. That's a good practice to do. You could do it anywhere, you see, so you begin to receive inspiration. Okay, so do we need something for us to experience nothing? The answer is yes. But we can also receive from the realm of nothing to help us in this realm of something. So it's like a conduit. It works both ways, Okay. Good question. Okay. Any more? Go ahead, Samantha, please.
Atumare Komet asked what scroll was he reading, but obviously I'm not sure which one
okay, it could be
you
this.
may be referring to. So I'll move on to the next question.
I think it's dimensional shift he's making reference
Shift?
to. Yeah,
Okay.
that's one. Can you see that? Oh, God, I don't know. That one there, yeah. Okay, yeah, it could be that one as well, yeah.
Okay. So it's, can you explain it how Atum witnessed the creation of God?
You're talking about as Amun. Amun, yeah. If we quickly go to, is it Revelation chapter 1, verse 12, is it? Quickly, I'm just going to pull it up now, okay? Revelation 1, I think it's about verse 12, is it? I'm just going to pull it up now. Okay, here we go. Is it Revelation 1 or? I'm trying to pull it up. Is it Revelation 1:12 or is it? Or is it 1:3:12? Hang on, I can't. No, wrong one. Hang on, I think it's. Was it 3? Sorry, I think I got the wrong chapter. Hang on, so I'm just going to try another one. Okay, I'm trying to pull up. It's not coming here. Okay, anyway, so when it says, I can't find the actual quote. Anyway, so in Revelation, I know it's in Book of Revelation, where it says, it talks about how Amun witnessed the creation of God, making that he was there when. But all the basic saying is he was the deity Amun was there when God was being created. That's what that's saying. They're there as a witness to that. That's all that's saying. So I'll see if I can get it again. Pull it up. There's nothing really deep about that. Yeah, that's all it's saying. Hang on, so I can't find it now. Yeah, that's all that's saying is that I'm trying to look for it. I can't find it. I don't know if anyone can find that quote there. I know it's in Revelation. It talks about 3:14. Oh, okay. Let me. Can you read that, please, Samuel? Oh, I found it. It says here. I found it. It's got here 3:14. Revelation 3:14 reads, Tartak. And unto the angel of the church of the the Laodiceans write, these things saith the Amen, the Amun, the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of God. This being the Amun, which is Amun-Ra, the faithful, and let's stop there. That word faithful, in the Arabic, they use the word mu'min. And that word, they say believer, but that word mu'min, you can hear, or mu'minun or mu'minati, you hear the word from the root word amana, amun. So it's the faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of God. Or when the God of the Bible was being created, this being Amun was there. That's what that's saying. I see. So basically, he's one of those higher beings. Okay, that's what that's saying. The Egyptian deity was there, and not only that, you notice how in all their prayers in monotheism, they all give reverence to this deity Amun by saying Omain. The Jews say Omain, Christians say Amen, and Muslims say Amen. All giving reverence to this deity Amun. Okay, and there's no denying that. And they say what they say it means. So might it be. So they all acknowledge, and like I said earlier on, even Muslims acknowledge the word Amun in their prayers, or as so in the Quran they use the word mu'min from the root word amana. They say a believer, a true Muslim is a mu'min. That's what they call them. A female mu'minati, and that's a plural mu'minun. So there you go. I hope that answered that question. I have a question for Kaiser Charles. So what extraterrestrial beings exist in our section of our galaxy? That means we're not alone. Do you know how big this galaxy is? Multiple extra. First of all, let's say like this. Excuse me. We've got to define what a galaxy is. Does anybody know what a galaxy is? Nobody knows? Hey, you guys got to get the books out. Did you guys go to did you do science class at school? Go ahead, Samara.
A galaxy would be the vast heavens and the Orion, Sirius. It would be all of the universes.
Okay. With that being said, so what is a constellation? Got to go to a galaxy like the Milky Way galaxy, that's right. But if someone said to you, can you, say you have a child, I always say this, you have a child, you say the child says to you, Daddy, Mummy, what's a galaxy? In simple terms.
A galaxy is, excuse me, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say a galaxy contains a whole lot of solar systems. A solar system is a home that has a lot of planets in it, but a galaxy is multiple solar systems within that galaxy. I don't know how to say, but
yeah, okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but okay. When you say the word solar, what comes to mind?
The sun.
So a galaxy is multiple
Suns.
suns, or a cluster of
Universe,
A cluster of
suns.
so keep it. Yeah, that's
Cluster of
right.
suns.
A cluster of suns makes what's referred to as a
A solar system.
a cluster of stars. Yeah. So you got a solar system. So you got a cluster of stars. Solar. You said stars. A cluster of stars makes a begins with G.
Galaxy.
That's right. So a galaxy is. So what's a galaxy now?
A cluster of stars
That's right. That's it. You know. That's it. That's it.
how would you say it like that?
Yeah, a cluster of stars. That's it, man. You know.
Right.
Hey, don't get yourself twisted up now. Okay. So it's what Goddess Keturah says here. Galaxy. Okay, it's like the Milky Way. Like this is called the Milky Way galaxy. Okay. Galaxy lives within the many universes. It makes up its own systems and constellations that helps create time and space, etc. Lunar. Okay, so what's a constellation now? I'm glad you used the word there, constellation. What's a constellation? A galaxy is a cluster of stars. What's a constellation? Goddess Keturah says stars, but we'll take it to the next level from stars.
A group of planets. Planets. I would say the planets. A cluster of planets.
That's a cluster. A cluster of planets is a galaxy, but how would you define a constellation? Give me an example of a constellation. When you call for Ray, because you put your foot in it. Oh, okay. You got so Kamta. You want to endarken us with your knowledge, with your wisdom. Get it right, you know. 'Cause everything's dependent on you. Go ahead.
I'm gonna try.
Go ahead.
It's, a constellation would be it's like it's stars, but in a pattern.
Correct.
A certain pattern.
Give
Yeah, so like the Orion constellation.
right.
A certain shape.
Another example.
Yeah.
Another example.
Another.
You got.
That's the best I've got.
Oh, that's all you could bring to the table. At least it's something you brought to the table. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Goddess Keturah says fixed stars. Yeah, or let's say a constellation is stars that form a pattern. And she said here, like the Orion star constellation. You got like the three belts of Orion. Then you got at the bottom. You got Anitak. Sorry, you got the constellation. You got Rigel, and you got what's that one there? You got Rigel on one side. You got Betelgeuse and Belly tracks on the top, and you've got Rigel and another star system to the left, and in the middle you've got the belt of Orion. So that shape, like the Hunter, they call that the Orion star constellation. And then you've got the Dog star, and you've got like Cyrus. So basically, a constellation is when a group of stars make a pattern. That's what they call a constellation. And a cluster of stars. You hear that? Yeah, cluster of stars is a what do you call it?
They also have an animal pattern as well for the astrological.
That's right. That's right. And that's why they say he's born under the Sagittarius star constellation, or the Leo star constellation, or the Virgo star constellation. You get that? But hear this, fam. We've run out of time. The landlord just gave me he just pulled the shutters down. So everyone had no more pints being pulled. As usual, we like to say, Tawakum. Thank you all for attending this class. This is our last class for 2025 of the Gregorian calendar. And we'll be coming fresh again next year, let's say next week, innit? For another wu-sabat class. And yeah, hey, fam. We're here every Saturday from 7 to 9:30 on Clubhouse, Zoom. You can also pick us up on, what do you call it? YouTube, yeah, that's it. On YouTube, you could also ask questions on our Telegram site, on OSM, Ask Us Anything. You can come to the store here in Croydon, 101 Church Street, CR01RN. Is that the correct postcode? Yeah, 1RN, Romeo November. Hey, you all are the ones who make the class, you know, and each one teach one. Until the next time, Moisar, Shalil wu-sabat, Pa musbatu, Pa munsaru, Pa, what do you say, Pa munbatu, the golden ones. Hey, we're everything, aren't we? Afrus muwadu, with Ashok. Wadu, Ashok.
Ashok,
Ashok.